for Monday, December 1st, 2025 at 7 p.m. Staff, could you please ascertain the presence of a quorum?
Mr. Bunkevist.
Present.
Mr. Horke.
Here.
Mr. Khan. Dr. Keene.
Here.
Ms. Carlson.
Here.
Mr. McCarty.
Here.
Mr. Mooney.
Here.
Mr. Neal.
Present.
And Mr. Woodard.
We do indeed have a quorum. I have no changes to the agenda for this evening. We will move to the approval of the previous meeting minutes from November 17th, 2025. Pleasure of the commission.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Councilor McCarty. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Carlson. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a approval of a proposed change to our 2026 APC meeting dates. I will look to Kevin to give us a brief explanation as to what and why.
All right, I think we're good. The only change that we will be adding a second meeting in January. When we put the schedule together, we were hopeful that we may be able to get away with just having one. That's ending up not being the case. We've got a lot of business in front of us, so wanted to follow the pattern that we have had in the last several years, where we will still have the first meeting be the middle of the month, and then the next week, in this case, it'll be a Tuesday because of the Monday holiday. January 20th is the addition to the calendar.
Okay. Any questions? Pleasure of the commission.
Move to approve.
Motion by Dr. Keene. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor McCarty. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is for staff to review the rules of procedure. Mr. Collingwood.
Yes, thank you, President. So procedures for public hearing items tonight, For items requiring a public hearing, tonight's meeting has the following structure. The department will summarize the petition, then the petitioner will be given up to 15 minutes to present to the Plan Commission. The President will open a public hearing. Individuals will be given 3 minutes to speak. Those representing a group will be given 5 minutes to speak. Only one member of the group will be given 5 minutes to speak. For efficiency purposes, we ask that those representing a group speak first. The public hearing will be closed when all interested members of the audience have had a chance to be heard and all emails received during the meeting have been provided to Commission members. The petitioner will then be given up to 10 minutes to respond to comments without interruption. The Commission will follow up with any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the petition. This may include additional discussion with the petitioner. Procedures for item of business items tonight. The department will summarize the petition and highlight any changes or modifications since the item was last before the Plan Commission. The department will also describe what action, if necessary, is necessary to be taken. The petitioner will be given up to 15 minutes to present any changes, and the Commission will then act upon the petition. For general rules of conduct for this evening, please do not disrupt the proceedings in any way. If you need to have a private discussion, then we ask that you please quietly exit the room. Please silence your devices at this time. If you must answer them, then please quietly exit the room. If you are attending in person and wish to speak in regard to a petition scheduled for a public hearing, then please line up against the west wall once the public hearing is opened. Please sign the speaker sheet next to me here as you approach the podium. There goes the pen. To speak, for efficiency purposes, we ask that those representing a group speak first. During your comments, please state your name and address into the microphone for the record, and that we ask that you not repeat previously stated comments. Your presentation will be timed, and you will be advised when there are approximately 30 seconds remaining. If you are not attending in person, comments regarding a petition can be emailed to planners@westfield.in.gov with the petition name or number included in the subject line. Those comments will be forwarded to Plan Commission members and the petitioner. We would like to remind everyone to please speak directly into the microphone so your comments can be put onto the record. Also, please mute your microphone when not speaking. If you come to the podium to speak, please ensure that the microphone is on as indicated by the green light at the base. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There are no consent agenda items this evening, so we move to items of business. There are 4 before us that all relate to economic development areas. We're going to take them all in one presentation, and unless someone feels that they're going to oppose one, we would like to take them all in one motion. When we do that, when you do make a motion, that you would need to speak to the microphone all 4 order numbers. So we're going to discuss here at the same time Plan Commission Orders 25-07, 08, 09, and 10. And Rachel Baker from Economic Development is going to give us a wonderful presentation. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening. Thank you. Rachel Baker with Economic Development. As a reminder just of the process, when it comes to economic development areas and TIF areas. This starts out at the redevelopment commission. So at our November meeting, the redevelopment commission approved the declaratory resolutions. And this is the second step in that process here at Plan Commission. So these will be resolutions requiring an approval. Yes or no vote. And then next it'll go to council, and then finally it'll go back to redevelopment commission for a confirmatory resolution and public hearing. So regarding order 2507, this is in regards to the Eagletown Economic Development Area. The green parcels are the existing economic development area and TIF area, and then we are adding the yellow parcels. Those are associated with the Trailside Business Center project, and this will make the economic development area coterminous with the economic revitalization area. Order 2508 is in regards to the East Side EDA or Aurora. Again, the yellow parcels are those being added to the Aurora area. And there are quite a few here, and we strategically waited until the end of the year to bring forward this amendment because there are different annexations and things that have happened over the year. So North Point 2 is being added, the Beacon parcel, and then some others interspersed in there in yellow. And then Order 2509 is in regards to the Grand Junction Economic Development Area. This is an amendment to Grand Junction Economic Development Area and TIF area. This parcel here at 181st and Wheeler Road, we anticipate future development here. So we'd like to go ahead and set the base assessed value in 2025 because this parcel is vacant. And it's already a part of the Grand Junction Economic Development Area and TIF area, but we're just making this a single site allocation area in anticipation of future development. And the last one is the Order 2510 Hamilton Crossroads Economic Development Area and TIF area. This is establishing new EDA and TIF allocation area here at 31 and 38 in anticipation of future development, but again, wanting to set the base assessed value here in 2025. And that is all I have, so thank you. Let me know if you have any questions.
Questions from commissioners? Seeing and hearing none, would entertain a motion regarding the four items before us.
Make a motion to recommend Plan Commission Order 2507, 2508, 2509, and 2510.
I want to make sure that this is an approval, not a recommendation for your motion. It says recommendations, but they are approvals.
Make a motion to approve Plan Commission Order 2507, 2508, 2509, and 2510.
Motion by Mr. Bunkefus. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor McCarty. Any further discussion? Staff, would you please call the roll?
All right, Ms. Carlson,
Yes.
Mr. McCarty,
Yes.
Mr. Mooney,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
Mr. Bunkevist,
Yes.
Mr. Horke,
Yes.
and Dr. Keen.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is 2504-PUD-04, which is the Town Road Crossing Planned Unit Development Amendment 1. We will turn to Mr. Collingwood for a staff introduction, followed by comments from the developer. Mr. Collingwood, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, President. Members of the APC, for the record, Ryan Collingwood with the Community Development Department. The petition in front of you this evening is for its recommendation to the City Council. It is a proposed amendment to the Town Road Crossing and Plan Unit Development District. The Town Road Crossing PUD was originally established in 2007 through approval of Ordinance 07-26. The amended real estate now comprises approximately 144 acres located south of State Road 32 and generally located northwest of Little Eagle Creek Avenue. The item was last in front of the APC for a continuance of the petition back in October. The item held its public hearing in April and a workshop meeting in June earlier this year. As I mentioned previously, the item is in front of you this evening for its recommendations to the City Council. Major modifications since the June workshop meeting include further modifying the number of allowable standalone restaurants with drive-through services within Area D and removing the SR 32 overlay frontage road regulations to the development. And I will allow the petitioner's representation to provide additional insight on some of the changes since the last meeting. John Dobashewitz of Nelson Frankenberger is here this evening representing the petition. He will be providing a brief update to the APC. Thank you very much.
Mr. Dobashewitz, the floor is yours, sir.
There we go. Thank you and good evening. For the record, my name is John Dobashewitz. I'm a land use professional with the law firm of Nelson Frankenberger. We represent the petitioner, Platinum Properties Management Company, and present tonight from Platinum is Paul Rio. Also present is Jim Schinover, an attorney with our office. And by way of general background, I wanted to kind of remind everyone why we're here. I know we had, as staff indicated, our public hearing back in April and then workshop in June. But the Town Road Crossing PUD has been in existence since 2007, so going on 18 years. And the ordinance permitted various commercial and business uses. In 2023, a part of Town Road Crossing, all of which was north of State Road 32, was bifurcated off from the development, so east of Centennial and north of 32, and it's becoming the bus maintenance facility and new middle school for Westfield, Washington schools. The real estate on the south side of State Road 32 that was the subject of the 2007 Town Road Crossing remains as an undeveloped area. You can see it on the aerial. This is a more recent aerial. The add-on to this real estate is 26 acres, and that 26 acres is located here. It's these three parcels here and the two parcels right here. That's 26 additional acres being added to the 118 that's currently zoned as part of the PUD there on the south side of State Road 32. We're updating the format and the content of the Town Road Crossing PUD so that it accommodates current expectations with regard to PUD ordinances approved in 2007. There was a different UDO in place. It was actually a zoning ordinance at the time. So we're bringing it into modern format for PUD ordinances, including the State Road 32 overlay standards, and it also addresses the proposed development vision for that subject parcel, that area identified as site on the aerial now on display. The proposed amendment is not significantly different from the current PUD in terms of land use. However, the proposed amendment will update the concept plan which provides significant enhancements that benefit the city. The amendment will limit auto-centric uses by prohibiting car washes and automobile rental businesses. Further, standalone drive-through uses will be limited to no more than 6 along in addition to a limitation on only one fuel station where the existing PUD does not limit those drive-through uses nor fuel stations on the real estate. This is one of those 3 changes that took place between the workshop meeting in June and this evening. Previously, the limitation was set at 8, and that's what we reviewed back in June with the Plan Commission. Open space and amenity requirements have also been added, which enhance the residential area to include a pool and other neighborhood amenities. With approval of the amendment, the PUD will accommodate the current planned alignment for Town Road. So you can see that Town Road alignment. I've got another illustration that helps identify that conceptually. It will expedite the dedication of right-of-way, as well as the construction of Town Road north of the bridge crossing of Little Eagle Creek. The extension of the Midland Trail is in a location which accommodates a future crossing of State Road 32, and the preservation of the natural wooded area along Little Eagle Creek, including the extension of the Little Eagle Creek Trail, will be memorialized and accomplished with development of this plan. There are 4 areas as part of the plan. The current PD permits various residential and commercial business uses, including 270 homes. Area A, this area in green to the south, will remain single family, including approximately 95 homes. Another change to the PUD after the committee was to the buffer between the owner to the south, which is the seller. So this buffer along this line will remain. You can see actually the tree line that exists there. It'll remain as tree preservation. Rather than getting into or removing those trees for construction of a buffer. Area B, the area in brown, will include single-family detached dwellings. There's 77 of those. They take the place of fourplexes, which were previously zoned as part of, or is currently zoned as part of the PUD. Townhomes are provided in Area C, that area in yellow generally, and that area will include an addition of the 26 homes on the 27 added acres. So the added acreage there in the gray and the yellow spot to the east coincidentally just results in an addition of 26 homes, more than the 270 that are already permitted under the existing ordinance. Commercial uses remain along State Road 32. As noted, the amendment limits drive-through uses. Compliance with the commercial architectural standards of the 32 overlay will also be in place, which aren't in place today. And the final change since the workshop has been along that frontage road. So the frontage road that's identified here on the plan, that frontage road, while it will still be constructed, won't be a standard in the ordinance. That was a request made by staff a couple months back, and we've accommodated that. In conclusion, we want to thank the Plan Commission for your patience. While additional negotiation took place internally between the seller and the developer, those were concluded a couple weeks back. We got back in touch with staff, and the ordinance in front of you this evening is, with the exception of those 3 adjustments, identical to where we would have been in front of the Plan Commission back in July. As staff indicated, we appeared in front of the Plan Commission in October requesting an extension until January, but we had everything wrapped up and are back in front of you this evening with a respectful request for a favorable recommendation onto the City Council. With that, I'll conclude. Be glad to answer any questions prior to a motion for a recommendation, and want to thank everyone for their time this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Before I turn it to other members of the commission, I want to say a couple of words related to this item. And this isn't intended for, this isn't questions, this is just a statement. This is not a conversation. I'm not looking for, any not that you can say, of course, whatever you'd like to what I'm about to say. But very rarely, I've been here just 2 years, so I know that I'm still new to this commission. But this has kind of been a weird one for me. I walked in here very 50-50 on this, and I'm still going to have to kind of listen to my fellow commissioners and the conversation as we kind of drive this. I'm sure there'll be some questions and statements related to this item. I understand that there is a lot of good that has come from the conception when we had this back in earlier in the year to today. There's been conversations, there's been stipulations, but for me, this has kind of almost been kind of we're playing chicken with this commission related to specifically the drive-through conversation that I know that initial commitments or initial discussion, I won't say commitments because I don't know for sure, but that only 2 would be on this property originally with the administration, and then that suddenly went to 8, and now we're kind of at 6, and I still am incredibly concerned with just the process in which this went. And as president, I try to be vocal last most of the time because I want my fellow commissioners to feel that I don't ever want what I say to kind of put pressure on anyone to say anything else. And I certainly want to hear from everybody tonight. I just want to express that from the totality of this, hearing from administration and council and the conversations that we've had here over time, that I'm not incredibly pleased with where this ended up. But I also acknowledge, to be fair and respectful, that there have been several changes to this that moved in a positive direction. I will say that for sure, and I don't know exactly yet what I'm going to do tonight. I'm usually not conflicted when I walk in this room, and I am. And I want to express that not just to the team that has obviously done all the work that you've done, but to my fellow commissioners as well. I really don't know where I stand on this, but I know that I'm kind of put off, I think, by the way we kind of came to where we are and some of the conversations that happened early on and then kind of the shifts to where we are today. So with that, again, I'm not looking for, you've done a fantastic job. You always do, John. You're always a commensurate professional, and I thank you for everything you'll do and continue to do in front of this commission. I just wanted to express my personal position. Again, not look. This is not an admonishment. I'm not looking for you. You're welcome to say anything you'd like to say. as you always are. But I just wanted to express my feeling on that. And so if you have something to say, you can. Otherwise, I'll let other commissioners ask questions, probably more than make statements. Members of the commission, Councilor McCarty.
Thank you, President Neal, and I'll just echo and agree with your sentiments of, even though we're updating the initial PUD, which it's been some time since it was initially approved, as was pointed out, going from what might be considered a F project to a C, it's still a C. And with just kind of the frustrations with this process, as was described, a little bit of a game of a chicken, I still feel that we can do better here. And it's not just the drive-throughs. I know just something that I've pointed out in the past when it comes to the residential section, among other discussions we've had, but something as simple as, moving the path away from the trees to give the existing homeowners there more of a buffer area. It just, again, reflecting upon the overall project, I just feel that we can still do better, and that's why I'm a no for tonight. But thank you for all the work that's gone through with this.
Further discussion?
I just
Dr. Keen.
have a question. Where's the Midland? Is the Midland run behind the commercial in the front of the townhomes or behind the townhomes?
The Midland is located right here, and that's on the,
Okay, so behind the townhomes and between the single family?
correct.
Okay.
And that's the alignment of the road, the rail bed today.
And then it turns and goes on the other side of 32 when it reaches the
It
end.
does, Dr. Keen, if you can see that, it starts to curve right here, that red line is where it starts to curve, and then it runs this way. But the thought process is, as we've heard the discussion occurring, is that they may want to take it and cross it at 90 degrees right here at Centennial, so we've accommodated for that possibility. But the trail that exists, that we're constructing, would run along the existing alignment. As it crosses Town Road, the city may have adjustments to that. I had heard some discussion about the potential of it running under Town Road where the bridge crosses. And if that takes place, we can accommodate that. It's just that we're showing it here on that plan because that decision hasn't been made yet.
Okay. How much frontage does this project have on 32? Is that like 3/10 of a mile, 4/10 of a mile?
1,700 feet, so miles 5280.
Mile 52.
Roughly a third.
Okay. And with the commercial properties, are we talking two deep or basically one across with traffic flow within?
The setback here that you see is similar to where the post office is, and those uses like Ortho Indy and others that have developed west of the post office over to Austrian Pine. And then there's that jog in front of Austrian Pine that shortens that up a little bit before you get to those other uses that stretch over to Goodwill and Meyer.
Okay. Well, I'm not big on 6 drive-throughs, but then on the other hand, with over a mile of frontage, that just seems like you can space it out. I'm worried as much about safety within the project as I am anything, and I assume that there'll be plenty of items built to facilitate traffic flow through there so that we don't have to worry about safety issues.
The ordinance requires cross connectivity, so it won't be in and out onto that frontage drive. There'll be interconnections between parking lots. This is at 175th Street, and then the only access to 32 would be the 2 points of access shown. One will be Town Road, and the other would be another access point, like is what's identified here. So no interaction in and out of off to 32 or in and out of the frontage drive to cross connect between individual parcels. They'll all be connected via parking lots internally.
I have a question about the access to 32. Will there be a light or something there, or is that just,
There's likely to be a signal or a roundabout, something of that nature at Town Road and State Road 32, and that'll be located here. And the state hasn't made a determination about access there. It could be limited to right in, right out only, or some other control. If you're familiar with there where Meyer is in their fuel station, there's a forced turn movement at that location. So it might be, when I say forced, it's not called a forced turn, but you know what I mean. If you've driven that westbound 32 and you have to turn at that location, it doesn't require. It eliminates the potential, if there's a dog bone there when you're exiting, it eliminates the potential for you to cross traffic and head west. you have to go east. So it's a right out only with a left in.
Yeah, it seems with the increase in traffic and residential activity, there definitely needs to be some sort of traffic control at that location.
Further, Mr. Mooney.
I apologize, I don't see colors really well. The rectangle at the top
The blue dash,
that says not included,
right?
is that, I just want to make sure that I understand, that's still not included in that additional 26 acres right now?
Correct. That
Okay.
parcel's not included in the development. It's excluded there in the area map. And then we showed that, and the ordinance calls out that that's an area that's not included in the plan. But we wanted to give an idea of what it might lay out if it came back in the future.
Okay, that helps. Thank you.
These buttons are tough to push tonight for some reason. Further comments or questions from commissioners? President Emeritus.
I guess that would be me. I did not vote for this originally in 2007 because I thought it was an okay project, maybe even a nice project in some regards, but that it was viewed at that point in time by me anyway as being so far out that there was no justifiable reason to plan a development that just wasn't going to happen. So I was very not wanting to see this happen. Everything has crept up to this site now. The schools are doing a lot right across the street from it now. I think there's going to be a need for it, and the improvements that have been illustrated for us, I'm comfortable with. I think that, you know, like many developments, if somebody just said, we want this site developed, why don't you go off in a room by yourself and figure out what you want there, and we'll do that. This isn't exactly what I would do, but it isn't all that far either. So I would be comfortable with signing on as a recommending approval to this. I may be in a minority on this group tonight, but considering where it had been, and I've been here for seeing all of this firsthand over all those years, and I'm comfortable that now is a time, and you can even see, well, not so much on that one, but the one I was looking at in the presentation, where you can see Westgate is very much there. There's schools both sides of this site. There's going to be a lot of people that will want to live out here. I think we can bring them something that will be a good quality for them to occupy and send kids to the schools. They're going to be nearby here, and I think it's going to be a growth area that I'm trusting that it'll be well managed, and this will be an asset to the community. So when it comes time, I'm okay with sending a favorable recommendation. It's not with, you know, a cheerleading squad that I want to, you know, amp it up, but I do think it's come to the point where it's ready for approval.
Dr. Keene.
Yeah, this is for staff. Town Road's projected to be a divided thoroughfare, just like Hazeldale, I think it would be down there. So the traffic for the elementary school to the south and this and everything would be accommodated by that road and the improvement. And that's a county project that has to be approved? Or is that
That's a city project.
that's a city project?
On the 2027 schedule currently.
2027, okay. This is not going to get off the ground much before that anyway, I wouldn't think, since we're almost at 26.
Dr. Keene, we put up the illustration that we've been provided by the city. What you don't see on this aerial, this is the elementary school site right here. And this is a roundabout, is that 169th Street?
Yep.
And it comes up, crosses the creek at a right angle.
North is to the right.
Curves up, yeah, and then up to State Road 32 where an improvement isn't illustrated there, but it'll likely be it'll be a signal or a roundabout.
Please, absolutely. Good evening.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Paul Rio. I'm president of Platinum Properties, and I wanted to have a few things to say about the process that we've been through here. But before we get to that, we've had numerous meetings with Department of Works and John Nail and others related to Town Road here, as well as other areas of the city that we're looking at expansion. But this is on the 2027 schedule for construction. It's about a $12 million project with a large bridge, and that alignment's been moved 3 or 4 times. All that has been in concert with what we've been trying to do with the access to our property, which comes off of Town Road primarily. So this is in the works, and we'll have a material impact on the traffic there. There'll be NDOT's recommending a signal at Town Road and probably another signal at Centennial, which is at our western boundary. I'm not as good at this as John, but up. Okay. I wanted to speak for a minute about the outlot issue. 80% of this property is already zoned. 112 acres of the 140 or so that's accommodated here is already in an existing zoning. That existing zoning carried with it a number of outlot uses. I think 7 to 9 was what we anticipated it would serve if nothing else were done. The Rushing property is the property over here that was added to the overall project, as well as a couple of small houses over here. The frontage, it's about 3/4 of a mile, of which 7 or 8 outlots would have been available, having done nothing. So when we put this thing together with the additional properties, the discussion became, we think we could fit 13 outlots on the property in total. Now, outlots is a pretty general term. We're just saying like 1 acre, one parcel slices across the frontage. So I don't want to be confused that we were only allowed 2. The discussion became about standalone drive-through uses, primarily driven in conversations we had with economic development related to TIFs and other things. So we came out of the gate back almost 10 months ago with 13 outlots across the front and no restriction. They were generally just going to be whatever outlots were. Staff, as well as economic development and administration, asked us to limit the number of standalone drive-throughs. We asked for 8. After numerous meetings and discussions, even with the Plan Commission, first time around, we settled on 6. So that's my history. I don't want you to think there were 2 allowed and we asked for 13 and then it was 6 and 8. There's plenty of commercial allowed along here already with the existing zoning. And in the absence of this rezone, in the absence of coming up with commitments, which we have added to the property, there won't be a limit on the number of outlot uses because the existing zoning doesn't carry that. So I wanted you to be clear on how we got there and what we've talked about. At the subcommittee workshop, the only 2 issues we had were how many outlots and where's the trail go. And we have other plans for the trail. Down. Depending on, it's really kind of an A or B to me. It's not a hill to die on, is which way the trail goes. We figured this would be left to the staff. This is an extension of the Little Eagle Creek Trail. It seemed to make more sense. The existing yellow line follows the Little Eagle Creek flood zone. It's just 10 feet outside the flood zone, all the way along the creek. So I guess I wanted to point out that there's a lot of other alternatives on where to run the trail if that were a sticking point. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, very much. Appreciate it. Further comments from commissioners? Mrs. Carlson.
I would just say I think it's a nice layout, and it's going to be a great asset to the schools to the north, schools to the south, and I'm just more concerned about traffic and people coming in and out and being safe and getting kids to school safely.
Further comments? Before we take a vote, because I feel like this will probably be a split vote, and we don't have every member here, which changes numbers. Is our legal counsel on? Nicole, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Good evening. Thank you. For a vote, because there are 7 members, do we still need 5 votes? I assume the answer would be yes to make any recommendation one way or the other. I'm getting an affirmative from a number of people in the room.
Yes.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So as a note, as we vote, if there is not 5 for one way, then it could go the other way, vice versa. With that, if there are no other comments, I would entertain a motion related to recommendation on this item.
I would move to recommend approval of this item 2504-PUD-04.
Motion by Dr. Keene. Is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by Mrs. Carlson. Any further discussion? Staff, would you please call the roll?
Mr. McCarty,
No.
Mr. Mooney,
No.
Mr. Neal,
No.
Mr. Bunkevist,
No.
Mr. Horkay,
Yes.
Mr. Mr. Khan's not here, Dr. Keen,
Yes.
and Ms. Carlson.
Yes.
So the motion fails 3 ayes to 4 nays. Well, it doesn't fail, I'm sorry. There was no recommendation at that point. Is there another motion or any other motions that wish to be made? I guess the other option would be that we could forward, I did the count correct, right? Three ayes, 4 noes?
Yes.
Is there further motions to be made? I guess the other motion can be that no recommendation is made if we can't agree,
That's correct. Yes.
but that I would understand that some recommendation must go through one of those 3 in order for the city council to act on this. I would say that's correct.
Yep.
Could
Dr. Keen.
Could I ask for clarification? I want to understand the present zoning, this is what I understand. The present zoning, if we do nothing, would then allow for unlimited development of the commercial area based upon the prior commitments on this site. Is that correct?
I don't want to say unlimited development, but yes, there is no restriction on the number of lots or
So-
outlots.
so what we're doing
drive-throughs, frontings.
By the
everything.
motion that just failed, we actually were trying to put some governor on the commercial development. Now, there's no governor on it, and it's just wide open, and we pray that Paul and his team does the right thing.
Yeah, whatever can fit, right?
Further conversation. Mrs. Carlson.
I guess I would entertain more specific reasons why you are opposed to this project, because I don't really understand what your opposition is. That's it.
I will give some other folks a chance to speak before I do, because I already led off, but I'm happy to, if anyone would like to have this conversation. Sounds like they don't. I mean, specifically for me. No, please, no, it's okay. I'll essentially reiterate kind of where I'm at. I understand that there won't be a governor to this, to Dr. Keen's point. I'm thoroughly aware of that. But I also, specific to the drive-through issue, I don't know. This process did not feel. I'm not alleging any deceit. I'm not alleging anything like that. I just don't like how we got to this point where 6. Yeah, could they put 13, 14, 15 left to its own? Yes. Is that likely to happen based on how many drive-throughs are down the road? No, I don't believe that it is. Very, very, very bluntly. And so I am opposed simply because I just don't like how we got to this point. And when we talk about, I think to Councilor McCarty's point, that this was an F project to start, it got to a C. At what point does Westfield, based on decisions from the past, right? Nobody today is to blame for where we are, but we are here. And at what point do we stop accepting what is seen as a C+ project? Where's the line? And maybe this isn't the line, right? I'm not trying to make anyone an example or anything like that. I feel very bad that this is the first failed vote that we've had since I've been president and since I've been here. But I think what it speaks to is the uncomfortability of where we are. And this has been a long process, and I just don't feel like we've moved enough down the road for me to personally support it. That's my position on the matter. Not that I don't agree with the comments you made about safety, not that I don't agree with the comments that the developer made, and not that I disagree with Dr. Keen's points. It just, for me, I've come to a point where it's not enough for me to vote forward.
Neil, if I can be recognized.
Sorry.
John, yes, of course. Next, if that's right.
No, please.
In light of the discussion or deliberation about the number of drive-through uses, we would request that the Planning Commission forward no recommendation onto the council and let the council weigh in on that number of drive-throughs and decide how they want to act accordingly. That gets the petition in front of the council with a identification of what the outstanding issue was for at least one, if not more, of the council commission members.
Thank you for that. Further discussion?
Just a question.
Yes, please.
Just to clarify, it's just the commercial that you're concerned about. Everything else is fine.
I don't want to pin myself to anything. I'm very careful about it. I'm a good politician. I don't want to commit myself to anything related to that. I'm less concerned. Again, I think this could be better overall. I'm personally less concerned about some of the other elements, but I'm also only one of 9.
Thank you.
Councilor McCarty.
And I would say it's not just the commercial for me. Again, looking at the prior PUD that was approved, and there's a plethora of potential possibilities that we could see here. And as we lose out, so to speak, on future beachfront property along our trail system or wherever else in front of new schools, new road frontage, it's just, again, going back to the overall point of going from an F to a C, when is that line of, well, wait a second, we can have a higher standard here. We can have something more unique that's just not continued copy-paste. But it's kind of a mix for me, both commercial and residential, but yes, also leaning upon the commercial side. So,
Further comments? Dr. Keene.
I like John's suggestion, so I hope somebody would move that. I would just say, I'm not going to talk too much about this, but if you think this project has only gone from an F to a C, by not approving it, the risk is out there that we end up with an F. And I don't think that's worth the risk, although I want to see more restrictions, and maybe between now and the city council meeting, something can be worked out. But I think that, yeah, we all want A projects, but we're stuck with something from 2007. And we've got other things coming up that we're stuck with from 2006 and 2007. So it seems to me like we need to get the best we can without some real risk about not getting anything. So.
Thank you, Dr. Keene. Any further comments or discussion? Well, I'm willing to take another motion related to this matter, if there is one to be made. Okay, we're at a standstill.
I motion that we make no recommendation on this issue right now.
Motion by Mrs. Carlson. Is there a second?
I would second.
Seconded by Dr. Keene. Any further discussion? Staff, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Horke?
Yes.
Dr. Keene?
Yes.
Ms. Carlson?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
yes.
Mr. Mooney?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
And Mr. Bunkevist?
Yes.
Passes 7-0 for no recommendation to City Council. Thank you very much. Moving on to the next item on our agenda is 2509-PUD-18, which is the Schlegel Commerce Park Planned Unit Development. We will turn again to Mr. Collingwood for staff-related comments.
All right, thank you, President, APC members. Again, good evening. For the record, Ryan Collingwood with the Community Development Department. The item before you this evening is a change of zoning request for what will be known as the Schlegel Commerce Park Planned Unit Development District. The subject parcel consists of approximately 3 acres and is located generally on the east side of Grassy Branch Road, south adjacent of the existing North Point PUD district. This item is in front of you this evening for a recommendation to the City Council. This item had its first reading with the City Council on September 22nd. Its public hearing with the APC at the October 6th meeting and a workshop discussion at the October 17th meeting a couple weeks ago. The subject rezone petition has been modified since its workshop discussion a few weeks ago. The main inclusion to the project proposal since workshop is incorporation of a concept site plan of the proposed development. Additionally, signage regulations have been modified based off previous commission comments. Matt Pleasant of Pleasant Cities LLC is here tonight representing the petition. He's available for questions / any general kind of contextual changes that have happened in the past couple of weeks. I'm also available for questions. Thank you.
Good evening. Floor is yours.
Matt Pleasant. I'm Pleasant Cities LLC, located at 5821 Julian Avenue, representing the petitioner, Austin Schlegel. Yeah, it has only been a couple weeks. We just had Thanksgiving in between, so I'll make this very, very quick. We discussed at workshop that we wanted to make sure that there were classes only being for the gym membership. Reverse channel lighting was included, removal of the gooseneck lighting. There is a site plan now included in the PUD, And finally, I did do some research on motion sensing lighting, and it does exist, so I went ahead and slid that into the PUD itself. And those are specifically for anything that is after the time when the lights are supposed to go out. Anybody that pulls in, the motion will turn the lights on. That is it from me. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. Otherwise, I'd be very grateful if there would be a favorable recommendation to the council. Thank you.
Very good. Comments, questions from commissioners? Seeing and hearing none, would there be a motion related to recommendation of this item?
Make a motion for a favorable recommendation for Schlegel Commerce Park Plan New Development.
Motion by Mr. McCarty. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Horke. Any further discussion? Staff, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Mooney?
Yes.
Mr. Neal?
Yes.
Mr. Bunkfist?
Yes.
Mr. Horke?
Yes.
Dr. Keene?
Yes.
Ms. Carlson? And Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Next section of our agenda, now that items of business are concluded, are the two public hearing items that we have this evening, starting with 2512-PUD-20, which is the Harmony Planned Unit Development PUD. As Mrs. Lauren Gillingham Teague comes to the podium, I just want to remind anyone that's online, planners at westfield.in.gov. When we open the hearing, we'll be looking for any comments that you may have. Lauren, the floor is yours. Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Planning Commission. For the record, I'm Lauren Gillingham Teague with the Community Development Department. And the item before you this evening is the public hearing for an amendment to the Harmony Planned Unit Development District. The subject real estate is roughly 5 acres in size and generally located at the northwest side of 146th Street and Ditch Road, right in the middle of the Harmony Mixed Use District, particularly District B. This site has been zoned for a grocery store or a similar large-scale commercial use for about 10 years now. We have not seen very many inquiries, even few of those have been serious inquiries, which brings us to this request. As proposed, the ordinance would allow for the development of Village Cooperative at Harmony, a senior housing cooperative for independent adults age 62 and older. Thank you. As you see on your screen, if you could scroll to a site plan, please. Thank you. Maybe. All right, so as you can see, the building will be accessed through existing substreets and will have a heated underground parking garage for residents, as well as a community garden over on the western side of the parcel. As proposed, the PUD requires substantial conformity to the included architectural elevations, the site plan, as well as the landscape plan, up to the discretion of the Director of Community Development. This item was introduced at the November 24th council meeting, and a neighborhood meeting was held on November 19th. Staff is in support of waiving the workshop. The commission is so moved. If you guys take that route, the item would be available for recommendation at the January 14th APC meeting. We received some red lines that have not yet been on your desk or in front of you. The petitioner is here this evening and plans to provide a presentation. We're both available for questions should any arise. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Dobashewitz, the floor is again yours.
Thank you, and again, for the record, John Dobashewitz with Nelson and Frankenberger. We represent the petitioner, Real Estate Equities Development. Andrew Schaefer is here in person on behalf of the applicant, and Jim Scherner, attorney with our office. The matter before you this evening is the proposed Harmony PUD Amendment 3. Approval of the amendment will permit the introduction of a new housing type in Westfield, but not in the Midwest, a senior housing cooperative. By way of general background, the Real Estate Equities is an industry leader in village cooperatives with 46 locations, open under, there it goes, open or under construction or being planned. They've been in business since 1973 and began the first village cooperative model in 2003. Real Estate Equities has delivered village cooperatives across 11 states and have completed 36 communities. The village cooperative model and ownership model is somewhat common where they started in the 1970s in Minnesota, which now has over 90 senior cooperatives, the state of Minnesota does, and include over 140 cooperatives, most of which are in the Midwest. Cooperative owners enjoy maintenance-free living in a secure setting, including amenities. Each member owns a share in the cooperative corporation, which owns the property, including inside areas and common grounds, and pay all expenses to operate and maintain the community. So, for instance, if your refrigerator goes out, it's the cooperative that replaces and bears the cost of that, rather than the individual owner. A board of directors is elected by the members, who are the owners of the units within the cooperative, and the model is an age-restricted model. Typically, we talk about age restriction in terms of 55 and older, but this is a 62 and older age-restricted model under HUD's regulations. The subject real estate, as indicated by staff, is in the mixed-use block of the Harmony PUD. It's located there. You can see north to south is Ditch Road, east to west, the main arterial is 146th Street. As illustrated, the site is located west of Ditch Road and north of 146th Street. The site's approximately 5 acres and surrounded by multifamily to our north. So you can see the 3 multifamily buildings here in J.C. Hart's community to the north, multifamily here to our west, and commercial uses flanking 146th and Ditch Road, CVS, the daycare, yet to be developed lot, and a couple other multi-tenant lots along that particular frontage. The proposal included in the amendment is to permit the cooperative residential use on the real estate, including 67 homes. There's 67 homes. In addition to that, there's one guest suite. As shown here, the building would be situated central to the property with access at 2 locations, driveway access here to the frontage road and driveway access here to the frontage road. Exterior amenities include patio areas and community gardens. Somebody asked me when they saw this the other day, said, "Is that pickleball courts?" And we said, "No, definitely not. Not 9 of them, and not there." But those are the community gardens. And there's also parking provided at a 2-to-1 ratio. I think the one thing that's interesting here is that the developer is not seeking participation on the part of the city to construct structured parking. This is underground conditioned space with the parking, a minimum 67 parking spaces. Access to that underground parking is right here on the back side of the building, not along the street frontage. In addition to that, there's another 67 parks on surface. The long, narrow rectangle you see on this side of the property is individual garages, so it's one building, but it has 12 garages. Those would be for use by individual owners within the cooperative. The building, this is a perspective if you're standing at Ditch Road and the access drive looking south and west generally. It's a 3-story building, and as noted, includes the 67 below-grade parking spaces. So it's 4 stories, 1 below, 3 above, to accommodate the parking. Building materials include masonry and fiber cement siding. Substantial compliance with these elevations is what's required under the ordinance. So it's this building at that location with those provisions, the colors and stone materials and roofing material are identified here. You can see the ground, the below-grade garage door. This is the west elevation of the building, which is typical of the other building facades. In conclusion, we had a neighborhood meeting 2 weeks ago. One person attended. That person was a representative of the Harmony HOA. I don't believe, if I'm correct, that Plan Commission has received any communications in advance of tonight's meeting. We would appreciate your time tonight and would be glad to address questions you have now and would be supportive of returning back to the Plan Commission at your January meeting for a recommendation before we head back to the council. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any initial questions before we move to public hearing? Seeing and hearing none. For those of you in the room that are here to speak on this project, you'll come to the shorter dais there. There's a clipboard. Please fill that out, and then you'll come to the podium. You'll state your name and address for the record, and then you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Those online, planners at westfield.in.gov. With that, I'm going to open the public hearing at 7:54 p.m. Any takers? Are there any friends? Come right on up. Good evening, sir, and welcome. Floor is
Good
yours.
evening. Good evening, lady and gentlemen of the Westfield Advisory Plan Commission. My name is Chuck Lehman. I'm a resident, and I live at 14872 Bixby Drive. And my wife and I, when we first looked into moving to the area and looked around, and when we chose Westfield in the southwest side, when we drove into town, it was evident that the herb farm on the northeast corner of Ditch and 146th had outlived its use. We also realized that the cornfields to the west weren't going to be there for very long. So it's always been a goal to stay involved, to understand and learn what's going on around our community, and do whatever we can to help have a vision and plan for the future. I look at this development, I look at the area, and having been in this area of our community for a number of years, walking, biking, jogging, whatever, to watch it develop and get to where it is today, I've looked at the current zoning and listened, and at this time, I just think that development is vision and demand, and a big part of our vision is location, and in development, it's all about, and we've heard tonight prior, location, location, and location. I think that this development is really cool, really good. And I think that this real estate development, the cooperative, is really a cool concept. This is just not the right location. I would urge this commission to look at the current vision and the demand that will come to this area. Just within the last few months, we've seen a national brand retail store open right across from another local brand. The CVS is one of the busiest. The other shops that are in the area, yes, this land has not developed in a few years, but it will, and it will very soon. And when I think that this is an aged product, and when I get to that age, I'll consider this because I think it's really cool, but not at this location. And I thank you for your time and your consideration, and look forward to the vision that you all have for the future of our community.
Thank you, sir, for your comments. Greatly appreciated. Further comments related to this matter? Mr. Collingwood, or maybe it's, I don't know who has the computer. Is there anybody online prior to the closure of this public hearing?
No emails at this point.
Very good. With that, I will close the public hearing at 7:58 p.m. Mr. Jabashewitz, would you like to address any of the comments made before the commission has a discussion?
Specifically with regard to commercial use on the real estate, which is permitted by right today on the 5 acres. It's been marketed for 13 years since the zoning was in place, and the zoning to the west anticipates the construction of a grocery store on that site, and I think that's one of the factors that have led commercial uses away from that. There was discussion at one point, not necessarily by the owner or the developer, as potential for a smaller grocery store, and we've seen those develop in other locations across the community. And at this particular location, we met with economic development a few months ago before we filed, and felt out their position with regard to the request to make sure that they didn't feel like it was taking away from the vibrancy of that corner, and we got positive feedback from economic development, and they felt like it was a good location for this use because of the walkability and introducing that segment of the community into a space that has available different retailers, like the coffee shops that are in place there today, and the other uses along there. as well as the connectivity along 146th Street that'll connect this real estate over to Town Road, and the myriad of other uses that we're going to see on the north side of 146th there, west of the apartments over to Town Road. So just wanted to add that context about the depth in which the owner's gone to for the last 13 years to find a good use, that we've met with economic development and haven't received opposition from them about integrating this use at that location.
Thank you, John. Members of the commission, comments, questions? Mr. Mooney.
With it being 62 and over and HUD being involved, are there any additional restrictions or anything we should be knowing about? I was reading through PUD and everything, just part of it's just my education. So I've tried to read up as much as I could beforehand, looked at the other products.
Yeah, and the age-restricted component is the model that HUD operates under for co-ops. There aren't, the situation that exists, there's a mortgage through HUD. It's not held by HUD, but it's backed, and it goes through private financing. So if I'm an interested party, I buy for, let's just say, $350,000 as my buy-in. And then every month I pay a fee, and that fee offsets debt service on the other half of the equation, which is the mortgage, and funds that are established to help offset, like what I said, like a refrigerator breaks, the AC unit needs repairing, maintenance costs, roofs, other things like that. It's all held in a fund, and that's paid for over time through those fees. The other interesting component about that is that, as it's been explained to me, if I invest for $350,000, my investment in that $350,000 that I put in goes up at a guaranteed 3% year over year. And when I sell to the next person, my cash out on the co-op side is that amount, which I think is predictable for those folks who are older and need to see predictability in terms of an investment that they make in the unit that they have available.
Yeah, I just think it's an interesting product, right? We've looked at some senior facilities, a lot of multifamily, a lot of single family, but I think this is the first of this kind we've seen. So appreciate that.
Mr. Horkay.
I got a card in the mail from the development team about a month ago. Caught me totally off guard. Started figuring out very quickly who are they and what are they actually talking about, because it was an invitation to a meeting just to learn about who they were and what they do, but I had to drill down deep, and then I eventually did figure out that it was this site, and I got in touch with community development and council, small group, and it's like, are we really thinking about this? And it was a fairly significant, this property's been dormant for all this time, which I don't disagree with, and it's real easy for me to sit up here and suggest, I don't think it's time yet, it's not my money. But there's so much that's happening out here. At the time this was first developed, it really wasn't reasonable to expect a lot of growth on that corner to happen quickly. But there's a whole harmony now. There's more and more Kimballwick. On the Carmel side of 146th Street, there is more and more that's happening. I agree with Mr. Lehman, who spoke. We were part of the councils that had approved some of these things years ago and saw the vision of what this corner should and could be. I'm not ready to say I think this is the perfect thing to put there now, instead of taking a little more time to, and I'm not trying to diminish the efforts that somebody has done. I don't believe that they could have been working hard 13 years ago to try to sell somebody on this site, but could they have been working hard 5 years ago to start selling somebody on the site? Sure, absolutely. And there might have been any number of folks that say, yeah, get back to me a little bit because I need a few more rooftops, I need a little more of this. I liked what we anticipated there, and I still maintain an optimism that we could have that. So I'm probably not winning the day here, but I really think we need to wait on this. I'm a little fuzzy on the concept here, but I'll learn more about it. There are probably some interesting places around the community where this would be a good kind of a project to have, but not here.
Councilor McCarty.
Yeah, I'll just kind of echo what I said at the council introduction, that this is the definition of an infill development, and I do appreciate the concept, as it would be a new product for our market, creating ownership instead of just additional rentals, which I could also see this format working elsewhere in a community such as downtown, Grand Parking, or wherever else. Kind of on that, segueing to that discussion of location, though, besides it being 10-plus years of sitting dormant, which, yes, some people will say that, well, they can continue to sit dormant or, whatever like that. My question would just be, if not this, then what? Because of everything that is going to be happening to the west of here. And when it comes to the, not necessarily affordable, but obtainable discussion of where you put a product like this, again, I just referenced the downtown. I would always be a proponent of putting this somewhere that is walkable, and again, as the development spurs to the west, it will be additionally walkable. It's walkable today with the CVS and coffee shops, because then you alleviate additional expense on the said future homeowners or renters in other cases, such as apartments and so forth, but in this case being actual owners. So those that moving here, they're wanting some sort of alleviation when it comes to additional costs, and if they're able to walk some distance, whether it be a mile or whatever, to get their groceries, go to work as a side job, or whatever it may be, I think this is actually a pretty good location for that. We shouldn't be sticking things like this out in the middle of a cornfield or wherever else on the outskirts of town. So I just, again, ask the question, if not this, then what? Is there the potential for some other large business to take over this parcel? Possibly, but we just haven't seen that interest over the last 10 years. So it's kind of, Schrodinger's box of what do you open up here? Do you go for this, or if not this, then what? So that's all I have. Thank you.
Further comments?
Yeah, I just think that it's close to Copper Trace, and is there a demand for this type of thing, or is it such a unique concept that it would offer like a different housing opportunity for seniors?
I'm not as familiar with Copper Trace. I'll go do some research for our next meeting. I know that it's not an ownership model. Copper Trace isn't, and I think they provide more acute services. This is not. This level of housing doesn't provide any services like either memory care or a nursing facility or those types of things. This is operates more like a apartment community with additional interior amenities for the benefit of the residents who own there. It's not a care model.
So it allows them to live independently on a smaller scale.
Right. They,
and
in
still
essence,
own.
as it's been explained to me, they have that support network of other owners who live in the building. They where our families traditionally today may not live in the same community, they can rely upon their neighbors who own the unit next to them or down the hall to help provide some of those same kind of support that they would otherwise allows them to maintain the independent level of living that comes along with a co-op, where Copper Trace is definitely not independent living.
As we wrap this up, I'll chime in. I think I've agreed with most of the sentiment here related to this. You're right. This has been sitting quite some time. There could have been some development, and there hasn't been. I love the idea. I love the project. Certainly, if I were wishing for exactly what I want here, could it be different? Certainly, but that's just not where we are. I think the product is beautiful. I think the idea is beautiful. I love the underground parking concept, and I wish we would do that more in Westfield and across Hamilton County, because I think it makes greater use of the space outside when we can put some of that parking inside and not have to go up to do it. And so I love the concept of this. I frequent this area. When I usually work remote, it's either the Starbucks right here, just because it's not as congested as up at 161st and Spring Mill, where I like going to indie coffee roasters. But I always tell Councilor Tam and McCarty, if they'd get me an indie coffee roasters in town, I'd go to the one in Westfield. But until then, I'll go to the one in Carmel. But I frequent this area a lot, and so I pass this multiple times a week in going past. And I just, as I kind of visualize this, I think it looks great. I think it will fit well. I love the community garden. I love the underground parking, and so I'm very supportive of this project. Further discussion before we. So I think what we have as a recommendation, what staff has said is that unless there is something specific we want to talk about at a workshop, that we would move to waive it, but we will not send a recommendation tonight. That it'll come to us to the next meeting. So first, I would entertain discussion and/or a motion related to suspension of the rules on this item.
Make a motion to suspend the rules to forgo the workshop meeting?
Motion by Councilor McCarty. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Mrs. Carlson. Any further discussion? Staff, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Neal?
Aye.
Mr. Bunkevist?
Aye.
Mr. Horkay?
Yes.
Dr. Keene?
Yes.
Ms. Carlson?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Yes.
And Mr. Mooney?
Yes.
Rules are suspended.
I've always, every commission I've always voted aye, and it just came back to me after years. All right, with that, we have no workshop for this item. We will see you back on this one, sounds like in January.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dobashewitz. The next item on our agenda is the public hearing 2512-PUD-21, which is the LPH Community Planned Unit Development. I obviously don't believe Mr. Crabtree is here, so it looks like we will get the dulcet tones of Mr. Collingwood related to staff report on this item.
Yes, thank you, President. Pinch in for Dane. Good evening, Plan Commission. For the record, Ryan Collingwood with the Community Development Department. The item before you this evening is a public hearing for the LPH/Community PUD. The ordinance proposes a general business underlying PUD with the primary focus of the request being for a rehabilitation hospital, which is defined within the PUD. Though the PUD does default to the general business zoning district for uses, through the exhaustive list of prohibited uses within the ordinance, the conceptual building shown to the south of the rehabilitation hospital would likely be general or medical office in nature. Properties to the north and east of the PUD exist the North Point PUD and the 196th and East PUD, where the Beacon North American HQ is currently under construction that exists to the south, while the under constructed community hospital exists to the west across East Street. This item is located in the Business Park and Employment Corridor in the current Comprehensive Plan's land use map. This item is scheduled for a public hearing this evening. It has been properly noticed and advertised. The department has received one comment, which has been forwarded to the APC members and provided as a public comment exhibit this evening. If, after the public hearing, the Plan Commission feels the petitioner does not have any major outstanding issues to address, staff is comfortable waiving the workshop for this item, but without sending a recommendation. Addison Bradford with Hall Render is present this evening on behalf of the petitioner. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Good evening and welcome. The floor is yours.
There we go. Now we're rocking and rolling. My name's Addison Bradford. I'm with the law firm Hall Render, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant, LifePoint Corporate Services General Partnership, which is an affiliate of LifePoint Health, which is a specialty hospital provider based in Brentwood, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville, that operates a number of hospitals around the country, including 24 behavioral health hospitals, many of which are in some more suburban communities. As Ryan mentioned, the property issue is a 19-acre area on north of 196th, and most of the development is east of East Street. There's a small kind of triangular parcel that was annexed in with the other three parcels that constitute the area, and so they make sense to kind of treat them equally here. The property, as I mentioned, was annexed in by an ordinance from the City Council that was passed in October, and that annexation became effective last Monday, so it is now a part of the City of Westfield. The main driver for this development is a behavioral health, let's see if I can, oh, thank you. Petitioner's presentation, here we go. Is the intended development of a behavioral health hospital on the north side of the campus. As you see in the concept plan, that on the north side is that behavioral health hospital. This is really to meet a specific need within the county. A report from the health department community health assessment found that behavioral health was a priority need within the community and noted the lack of any inpatient behavioral health facilities within the county. Although Hamilton County does really well when it comes to a lot of metrics in terms of access to healthcare, it ultimately cited a study finding that the ratio of residents to mental health providers lags within the county. As you see on the presentation, the average residents to mental health providers nationally, 340 to 1, statewide, 500 to 1, and Hamilton County is 540 to 1, lagging behind that. So this development is intended to specifically meet that need within the county. The intent is for not to be a regional hub for everyone within the state of Indiana. LifePoint and Community are also developing on a similar track and timeline another behavioral health hospital within the city of Indianapolis that would be primarily to serve within the residents of that county. The site is owned by Community Health Network as of today. The plan would be to ground lease the site, or at least the portion of the site on which the behavioral hospital would be located, to a developer to build it, construct it, and then lease it back to the joint venture operated by LifePoint and Community Health pursuant to a long-term lease. Because the improvements would be owned and developed by a for-profit developer, the property would be a taxable project that would have 120 beds and be about 75,000 square feet. That construction would commence, or is expected to commence around, if the approvals are received, around September 2026 on a projected 16-month construction schedule. We've included some initial renderings of that facility here. We have received a few comments from the staff about the design, and so this will look a little bit different. For example, some of the cornice and moldings will be better developed, but you can get a flavor of what this will look like. And so here, kind of more detailed drawings of the inpatient entry and the outpatient component of the facility as well. In terms of the rest of the site, there isn't a specific development plan for the construction of additional buildings on the south portion of the site, but the idea or aim would be to develop it in something that's consistent and similar with the community hospital that's across the street. The most likely development would be a medical office building that supports the hospital. And the reason for that is because there are although the underlying district here is general business, the draft or PUD ordinance under consideration includes a myriad of uses that restrict what that can be. I've included just some of them here. This isn't all of them, but we're not going to have there's not going to be a movie theater there. There's not going to be a bar there. There's not going to be anything like that. It's really going to be something that's ancillary, or not ancillary, complementary to the hospital that's across the street. And so with our petition, we've included some character exhibits, and this gives you a flavor of what some of those medical office buildings would look like. A couple other notes. This is the inpatient behavioral health facility. Is not a permanent residential facility. It is a temporary facility. At LifePoint Hospitals, the average length of stay or at their behavioral health sites is 7 to 10 days. So it's not a place that's going to take a bunch of involuntary commitments for folks, and they're going to live there for years and years. That's not that type of facility. We did receive one comment, or we did receive the forwarded comment from the member of the public asking about some traffic concerns, landscaping, and the location of the retention ponds on the site. The PUD ordinance, we would be subject to all of the landscaping standards within the UDO. So certainly the ultimate site plan development for the site would be compliant with whatever landscaping requirements that exist. And then on the traffic side, the one note I'll make here, and certainly again the site plan will guide some of this, but this isn't an industrial use. This isn't like heavy, big trucks that are coming and using the roads. These are mostly probably residential vehicles that are going to use the site. Happy to answer any questions about the project, and we appreciate your consideration.
The only question I have isn't really related to the building itself, but is there a maximum amount of time that an inpatient, you had said the average is 7 to 10 days, do you know if they have a maximum that they're, I mean, I guess you don't ever want to throw anybody out that needs help, right? Or is that just kind of on a doctor-patient basis to the situation? I'm concerned, I'm not concerned, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that,
Okay,
but
that's
certainly
fine.
we can find out. Certainly, they're not going to release anybody that poses a safety threat to anybody.
Nor should they.
Yeah.
Nor should they.
But it isn't intended to be a permanent residential facility, so I would imagine if, I'm not aware of a situation where somebody's living there after being admitted 4 years earlier.
Very good. Any other questions prior to public hearing? Seeing and hearing none, we will open the public hearing related to this item. Again, if you are here, please come to the shorter dais. There's a clipboard there to the side. Those online, planners at westfield.in.gov. I will open this hearing now at 8:20 p.m. Anyone that wishes to address the commission related to this item? Is there anybody online that wishes to address us on this item?
Not at this time.
Seeing and hearing none, I will close this public hearing at 8:21 p.m. There's nothing for you to address because there were no questions, and so now we'll see if the commission has some. Members of the commission, questions, comments related to this topic? Councilor McCarty.
Just reiterating that I feel that this is a great partnership between community and LifePoint. And just to clarify, I caught it there at the end when you had said it, but this particular use would be taxable, or no?
The behavioral health hospital would be taxable. Under Indiana law, property must be owned, used, and operated for a charitable purpose. The improvements are not owned for a charitable purpose. They're owned by a for-profit developer, so we aren't able to meet that test.
Okay.
I imagine maybe at some point down the line, the property is split, so maybe the southern half of the parcel would, but certainly the only intended development on the site would be intended to be taxable.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Further questions or comments? I think this is great considering what's across the street and what's going on in this area. I think it is certainly a wonderful partnership. I think not related to Plan Commission, but I think behavioral mental health is something that has been ignored for far too long, and we're just now catching up to the myriad of needs. And I think this is a great addition to the community. So thank you so much for bringing this project. The little sliver, I assume you're just going to landscape it, the northwest corner sliver that's on the other side of the road. It's just kind of it's yours. You have to do something with it, but you can't put anything on it. So you just, I said northwest. Yeah, whatever the other side of east is, which I guess is still in front of. It's almost going to look like it's part of the hospital. But okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine what you could put there aside from.
I can't imagine that you could put anything there.
Maybe an additional entry, but I mean, the reason we've included it is because I don't know why or when, but that small area was not annexed in as part of the city, but the larger hospital parcel was, and we just thought it made sense, given community's ownership of the three parcels east of East Street, to include it here.
Put a couple nice trees, it'll look nice.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Any further comments or questions? So I believe staff has noted that if there are no major concerns with the project, that we could waive workshop, but that we will not be looking for recommendation this evening, that you would come back for a future meeting. Is that our correct assumption?
Yes.
With that, I would entertain a motion on suspension of the rules related to workshop, if there is such a motion to be made.
Motion to suspend the rules?
Motion by Councilor McCarty. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Carlson. Any further discussion? Staff, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Bunkerfist?
Yes.
Mr. Horkay?
Yes.
Dr. Keene?
Yes.
Ms. Carlson?
Yes.
Mr. McCarty?
Aye.
Mr. Mooney?
Yes.
And Mr. Neal?
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. We'll see you at a future meeting. Thank you very much. There are no other public hearing items for this evening. We have 3 items that are continued to a future meeting, which is the Ironstone PUD, the comprehensive plan, and the Sugarleaf, I almost said Sugarloaf, I almost did it and I stopped myself. Plan unit develop. They should change their name because I'd actually say it right. So we have those 3 items continue to a future meeting. Any questions, comments, anything with that? No? Very good. Comments and reports, Plan Commission members to each other. Seeing and hearing none. City Council Liaison, Councilor McCarty.
It was a long meeting, so if interested in any of the details, please refer to my email update recap that I sent last week, or I can answer any questions now. But on the mention of Sugar Loaf, AKA Sugar Leaf, they did have their introduction last council meeting, the neighborhood meeting last week as well, but they asked for a continuance to be introduced at the January meeting instead of tonight. So that's all. Thank you.
Any other new items coming our way that?
I believe the only other 2 were the 2 that we just saw.
Got it. Very good. Board of Zoning Appeals, Dr. Keene.
We meet next week.
Okay, we look forward to your report the next time. Mr. President Emeritus. Plat Committee.
Yep, we did not meet, and we're not meeting next week. We will not meet again until January sometime,
Okay.
presumably.
All right. Staff, to the commission.
Yeah, just a quick reminder, your next meeting, I know there's been a lot of back and forth on meetings in December, so your next meeting will be in 2 weeks, December 15th. That will be a workshop meeting for the Ironstone petition, and that will be held here at City Hall at 7:30, because the RDC meets at 6 in this same space, so we want to make sure they have time to vacate. So that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Very good. Any further business to come before the commission?
Quick question.
Councilor McCarty.
Sorry. I know. This is kind of a reminder. Do we have to stay to sign?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, you have a lot of things to sign. You got to vote once, but you have to sign 4 times.
Thank you, Victor.
Further business to come before the commission. Seeing and hearing none. Is there a motion to adjourn? Moved by Mr. Mooney. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor McCarty. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned at 8:27 p.m.